But yeah, first and foremost, thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I always like to start with just like a quick kind of introduction.
Okay.
So obviously, give it just a quick introduction, your name and kind of like your background.
My name's Ryan Schwartz. I am 39 years old. I'm an attorney here in Charleston, South Carolina. I do some real estate as well. And I was born and raised in Georgia, and I've been here for about 20 years now.
I know you started your career in the manufacturing space. Is that correct?
I did.
Yep.
I did. Yeah.
In Europe.
In Europe, I was in plastics. That was another lifetime ago.
Yeah, that's really cool. So my question is like, what inspired you from transition from getting experience in the manufacturing space and then going to like the legal space?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's not, sometimes life comes at you and you have to adapt. And I wanted to be in manufacturing in college. I studied management, but I enjoyed the manufacturing aspect of it. So I worked for a plastics company. Well, 2009, I graduated in 2008. 2009, 2010 hit, and the economy crashed.
Yeah.
And we were manufacturing things for BMW, trucking, boats, leisure, like RVs and stuff. And so they weren't selling, and so we weren't manufacturing.
Dang.
The company closed, and I got laid off.
Right.
And so I wanted to get a secondary degree, and I wanted to get a degree that was gonna, push the needle for me on what I wanted to do. And my mom said, "Hey, you should check out. You should think about law school."
Wow.
And so I didn't know much about law school. I didn't know what lawyers did. Did some research, took the LSAT, got in, worked for a law firm for a little while before I went to law school, applied, and now here I am.
Yeah, that's really cool. Usually it's like when a parent recommends like something with law, you're like, absolutely not.
Right,
or
right.
Like, you know what, let's go. Let's give it a
Well,
shot.
it was a degree for me that was going to allow me to do two things. One, advance my career and let me do kind of whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You don't have to practice if you want to be a lawyer, but it kind of molds the way that you think. But also allows me to set up my own business and work for myself, because I never wanted to be in the position again where somebody else.
Right.
I was relying on somebody else for my paycheck.
Sure.
And so it was kind of the best of both worlds for me.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. During your time at Charleston Law School, you were active in the Federalist Society and trial advocacy team.
Yep.
How did this experience prepare you for the real world legal practice?
Yeah, so obviously trial advocacy is kind of you try fake cases, and they give you a scenario. You have fake trials on them with judges, and you get to learn that courtroom presence. You get to learn the rules of evidence. You get to practice asking witnesses questions, which can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And so it gives you that real world experience, which I was able to take that into the real courtroom when I got barred, and I wasn't I had been there before a little bit, so I had some experience there. And then the Federalist Society was just kind of made connections throughout different law schools. But we also, with that, were able to bring in a lot of really cool speakers from DC and all around the country who were experts in their field. Like we were able to bring down Andy Yu, who wrote the Bush terror memos, which were very famous at the time because he basically legalized some torture practices. Yeah. So we were able to bring him down, have discussions with somebody who was in our own government, over lunch, and ask him questions about how stuff works. So we got exposure to those types of things, and that was really cool at the time.
That's really cool, man. And like to add on that, was there like a lawyer that you looked up to during that?
Oh yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Bill Thrower, who has since passed. Bill was the guy who gave me, when nobody else wanted to give me an internship or a clerkship, he gave me an opportunity. Yeah. And I can really, there's Bill Thrower, Beatty Butler, who has since passed, Conrad Folkowitz, Paul Bradley, Guy Vitetta. I mean, there's a host of Mary Louise Ramsdale, just to name a few of folks who really took me in, surrounded me, and made sure that I did well and learned how to practice the law correctly. So I try to do that now in my career and bring up the new attorneys. But for sure, had mentors definitely early on and through law school who I have to give a lot of credit to for helping me get to where I'm at today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's always that one person that gives you the opportunity.
Always.
Yeah.
And you never know. You never know who that person might be.
Right.
So, opportunity knocks. You got to open the door.
100%. That's cool, man. Starting law firms, no easy feat. What motivated you to establish your own law firm, and what were some of the biggest challenges?
Yeah. That's twofold. One, I mean, truth be told, I was doing on-campus interviews to get jobs, and nobody hired me. So, when you do 10, 12, 13 interviews and nobody hires you, you kind of don't have a choice. The second part was I always wanted to work for myself because I knew that I wanted to have the fruits of my labor, right? And I didn't want to work the way I work and let somebody else take that from me. So it was twofold. When I got out of law school, I had made enough connections through law school that I got my first client the day after being sworn in and started to realize I could do that. The hardest part about it, was just figuring out how to navigate running a business and also being a lawyer at the same time. Because they're not the same always. So that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. Your firm handle criminal defenses, family law, civil litigation, those sort of things. How do you manage such a wide range of cases, and what strategy do you use to stay sharp in each area?
Well, so I first, again, when you start your own law firm, I had an idea of I was just, going to be the white Johnny Cochran. That was I was going to just do criminal defense and that's all. And what I realized was that, you can make some money doing criminal defense, but also a lot of times these people had a need for a family law attorney too. They were going through a divorce, or they had a DSS case or something was going on. And so, 80% or 85% of people, their first time they engage with a lawyer is through family court or for criminal. And so I just figured if I was going to run a business, I should probably be able to do both, because they're connected, and I didn't want that money walking out the door to another law firm when I could handle it.
That makes sense.
That's how I kind of started that. I was hedging my finances and my bets.
That makes sense. It's like that's what the demand is, so you have to service that.
Yes, that's what the demand. Yeah, exactly. I mean, supply and demand, and also to answer your second question, how do I stay sharp? I mean, I'm in court 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and so I know what's going on. I know what the judges are thinking. I try a lot of cases, so I know the rules of evidence, and you stay sharp and you practice your craft. Where's the theory that you have to do something for 10,000 hours before you become an expert? Same with law. Same with riding a bike, same with flying a plane, or whatever you're gonna do. You gotta keep up with it.
Yeah,
so
that's really cool. Your first time in the public live courtroom, how nervous were you?
I was nervous. Yeah, of course. I mean, anybody who says I'm nervous, in front of a jury. I think that's normal. But yeah, I was nervous, but we ended up winning that trial.
Yeah.
So it was good.
That must feel good. That must feel good, like winning a game or something.
Yeah. It was a big deal. So it was a lot of it was an interesting, great experience.
Yeah, that's cool, man. With extensive trial experience, including high-profile cases, is there one case that stand out to you the most, and what lessons do you take from that experience?
Every case, no matter what, you're going to learn something from, whether that be, a speeding ticket through a murder, and so it is called the practice of law for a reason. It's practice. Nobody is perfect at it. Definitely, all the trials that you do, the criminal trials especially, in front of a jury, you learn from talking to jurors after a guilty or a not guilty plea. Always teaches you something. Definitely the cases early on in my career, the murders and some of the criminal sexual conduct cases that I won, learned a ton about evidence, witnesses, victims, and just proceedings and the dealings of cross-examining a police officer or those kind of things. So those definitely stick with me.
That's really cool. So it's pretty spot on with movies and stuff like that, because that's all the experience I have. It's just
the movies are a little more romanticized. Okay. Some of the really, truth be told, one of the more accurate movies from a point of view of evidence is going to be My Cousin Vinny.
Okay.
Entering evidence, expert witnesses, stuff like that. It's a comedy, but it's true to the form of how things are entered into court. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Legal battles can be some of the most stressful times in a person's life. How do you ensure your clients feel supported and informed throughout the legal process?
Yeah, so nobody comes in my office because they're having a good day. I don't get to meet my clients because, they won the lottery and they want me to set up a trust, right? It's their worst, it's the worst thing that's happened in their life. They've been arrested, they've been accused of a crime, sometimes with severe penalties, or they're going through a divorce, or their kids have been taken away, or, the threat of not seeing their kids every day can really wear on people. I think and this goes true, I think, with all business, that, you treat people how you want to be treated. So I try to remember, if I was in their position, how would I want to be treated? So I think, the simple things, responding to emails, taking time to call people, taking time to meet with them if they have concerns. And I find that people going through this process, they don't know what the process is. So it can cause anxiety.
sure.
So if you're able to slow down, explain the process, give them a likely outcome or give them an idea of what that outcome should look like and a pathway to get through that.
Yeah.
That's how we try to manage those clients, anxiety, expectations, and fears.
Yeah. No, I love that. You spent over 1,000 hours doing pro bono work. Why is community engagement important to you, and how does Schwartz Law Firm contribute to the local community?
Yes, I did. I think almost 1,500 hours at the public defender's office throughout my time in law school. So it was like a little bit over 2 or 2.5 years that I did. We try to do. We were doing the Cinderella project this year, right? We just got 190 suits and dresses for the Cinderella and Prince Charming project. Fundraising for Battle on the Bricks. Yeah. We were able to do some stuff with a local charity called Compass Harbor, where we were able to raise enough money to buy one of the girls who was aging out of DSS a vehicle so that she could continue to go to work. Cool. So, I think it all boils down to no matter what career you're in, if you have the ability, you have the responsibility. And I firmly believe that. So, I've been blessed with, a good health. I've been blessed financially through hard work and support from friends and family throughout the years. And I think it's important to try to give that back. Yeah. And, we can't save everybody, but if we can help a few people along the way and leave the earth a little bit better than when we found it, I think that's really, important. If everybody could kind of take that approach, we might be a little bit better off as a society,
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I love that. For those considering a career in law or starting their own firm, what are the most important lessons you learned that they should know?
There's no shortcut to success. And I don't know how you define success. Is that happiness? Is that your ability to travel a lot more? Is it money? Everybody's, I think, measurement of success is different.
Yeah.
But I think it allows you to get to that success. I have friends here in the legal world who take a lot of trips and they spend time with their families and they go places. I think that's fantastic. I got a lot of friends who, financially are doing very well, or who are raising kids and, are able to better, their kids' lives from where they were growing up. So, I think it just it depends on what your definition of success is.
Right.
For me, it's just being happy. I love what I do. It's challenging every day. I love helping people. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy the challenge of trials. And it gives me something to get up and do every day. And I love the people that I work with. So it makes it really easy to come to the office and do work together.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's awesome.
So,
you have some exciting hobbies. You have race cars, you're a pilot, mm-hmm. You're boating, and you're a boxer. Mm-hmm. How do this passion influence your mindset as an attorney and an entrepreneur?
I think you got to be passionate about it. Whatever you do, whatever you're gonna do, you got to be passionate about it. Because why do it if you're not? So for me, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it 150%, 300%, right? If I'm gonna put my mind to something, I want to be the best at it. So whether that's being a lawyer, whether that's being a boxer, whether that's fundraising, whatever. If I'm gonna put my name behind it, I'm going to put effort into it to the point where it's the best that I can do. Right. It may not be better than what other people can do, but it's the best that I can do. And so that's where, that's where my pride comes from that, and that's why I do what I do. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And I think, I'm curious, do you think a lot of these passions come from, your history of being a starting pitcher for Winthrop?
Yeah, right? I mean, look, I wanted to play, I wanted to play Division I baseball. I wanted to make it to the major leagues. I didn't make it to I wasn't drafted. That was a tough time in my life when, every decision I had made was around baseball, where I went to high school, what I did with my summers, where did I go on vacation or not, what did I do with my weekends? Where I went to college, it was all around baseball. And so when that next step didn't happen for me, I had to regroup and use that passion to then do something else. People don't know this. I worked after I got laid off from the plastics company. The only job I could get was at Longhorn Steakhouse. And I couldn't even become a waiter, right? I was a host and a busser. So I was the best damn busser I could be. And, look, that was a contention. It was a point of pride for me.
Right.
And I don't care. My advice to everybody would be, I don't care what you do. I don't care, what job you have, as long as it's, honest, just be the best at it and do the best that you can do. And that's going to bring you happiness, and that's going to bring you success.
For sure. Yeah,
So
I love that, man. When you look back at your careers a couple years from now, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, both in the legal field and just in the lives of people that you work with?
Yeah. A legacy, I want people, if I die tomorrow, I want people to come to my funeral. One, I think it shows your impact of who you are as a person and what people think about you by how many people show up at your funeral. But also, I want them to remember the good things. Remember, tried to help people. I tried to better their lives in some way, or I was there for them in some way. That to me is really important. That would be important to me. That is important. That's why I think I live my life the way that I do.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And just to wrap it up, if people want some legal help from you, where can they reach out to you and where can find you?
Yeah, you can call the office, 843-571-4604. You can find us on Instagram. You can DM us. You can stop by the office and make an appointment. I'm not hard to find. You can find me.
That's great, man. Well, I appreciate it, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks. It's good to see you again, man.